Okay, here's some more examples of graphing absolute values. And what I did on the last video, you might want to kind of write this down so you have it as a reference of this general form. So again, we want to have just a 1 in front of the x, so we've got to work on this a little bit. Because we've got a 3 in front of the x, so we'll rewrite this. Y equals 2 times the absolute value, and I'll just say 3x. And then I want to get a number here that I can divide a 3 out of the top, so I can just write 3 over 3. And that should do it, so. Then I can factor out that 3 out, so I have y equals 2 times the absolute value, and I'll take the 3 out of both. And what's left in the first term is x, and what's left in the second term is 1/3 minus 2. And then always check it. 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times negative 1/3 is negative 1, so that checks out. So we're okay. Same thing, just different form. But now we can see we have a horizontal shift, vertical shift. So my transformation will actually be the same sign, 1/3, and I'm sorry, I should say opposite sign. Opposite sign, this is positive, and same sign, negative 2. That's what we said. So there's your transformation. Now my shape equation is just going to be y equals 2 times the absolute value of 3x. So we just cross out the transformation, and there's our, for the same thing, the horizontal vertical shift, and that's what's left. And then we just use our good old table of values and our 3 values. X, y, negative 1, 0, 1. I put negative 1 in here, the absolute value of 3 times negative, well, 3 times negative was negative 3, absolute value of negative 3 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6, 0, and 6. That's what I've got. So I get out my trusty graph paper. I'll do this on the smaller graph paper like we do for our quizzes, so you can see I can fit this in. And this is the one we have over here. So I have to find my shift, my 0, which is 1/3 negative 2. So I go 1/3 out, so I have to kind of eye this in negative 2, so that's about 1/3 of the way. So, you know, you can only approximate there. And then my other key points, I'm going to go 1 to the left, vertical 6, up 6. So I'm going to go 1 to the left, I'm going to go up 6. So this is 1/3, so I go 1/3 over here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, this is 1/3 to the right of 0, so this would be 1/3 to the right of negative 1. And then I'm going to go to the right, so I go 1/3, 1 over. This is the 0, 0, of course, and I'm going to go 1 to the right from here. So to make it 1 and 1/3, then I'm going to go up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see what you have now is a very, very skinny B. So you connect those, get your straight edge out. And you have a, you know, fairly accurate sketch. Okay. Very skinny B. Shift it over. Hope you can see that. Hope you see those lines. Like I said, I draw the lines in pencil just in case I've got to erase them, fix them. This one could go over a little bit more, so a little sloppy on that one. So I'm trying to get the dots lined up. So you doctored up. So there you go. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Let's take a look at this next one over here. Go bleed through here. Same idea. It doesn't match our form. We need a 1 in front of the x. So we'll rewrite this. Y equals negative 3. I've got 4x plus, and I want to have a number that's divisible by 4. 6, no. 9, no. 12, so I have to multiply this by top and the bottom by 4, so I get 12. And this is like 3 over 1, so 12 over 4. And 12 over 4 is the same thing as 3, but only 4 goes in there, so that's going to work. Okay, now I'll factor the 4 out, so I have a 1 in front of the x, so I got x, and 4 goes into 12 3 times. plus 5. Now I'll multiply it out just to check. Make sure you check this. 4 times x is 4x, positive, and 4 times 3 is 12. 12 over 4 is 3, so that's okay. So that checks out. So now I've got my horizontal shift, which is opposite sign, so it's going to be negative 3/4. And my vertical shift, which is the same sign, so it's going to be 5. So there's my horizontal vertical shift, which is my new 0, and then I get my shape equation from either way, just get rid of the shift. So the shape equation is going to be y equals negative 3 times the absolute value of 4x. So table values, negative 1, 0, 1. Okay, 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. The absolute value of negative 4 is positive 4 times 3 is negative 12. Okay. 0, and it's going to be another negative 12. Symmetrical. So there we go. Now I could put some negative signs in here, but this is kind of the trivial sense, so it doesn't really make much difference because it's going to filter out. So if I put a negative in front, it would still filter out. So I didn't do any examples like that. I might do some just so you know how to handle it, but it will filter out because it's what we call an even function. It's symmetrical to the y-axis, so a negative in here wouldn't make any difference. All right, but just for sake of completeness, I might put one in. So in order to graph this, here we go. This is what we have, I believe. Negative 3. Okay, so there's my graph. I find my new 0, 0, which is going to be negative 3/4, 5. So negative 3/4 would be negative 3/4 from 0, I guess, and I go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's pretty close, so I'll put the little dot there. Now I'm going to go to the left. So that's negative 1, so that's 1 to the left, down 12. 1 to the left, down 12. So I'm going to be negative 1 and 1, 1 and 3/4. This is negative 3/4, negative 1 and 3/4. I'm going to go down 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I kind of estimate, so it's going to be like over here. If I continue this line down, see, this will be 3/4. So it'll be like close to that. And then I'd have to kind of draw this graph. So we're a little bit off the graph, but we can kind of estimate. Then over here, this is going to be just 1/4. All right. I go over, if I add 1 to negative 3/4, I get 1/4, and I'm going to go down 12, so it's just going to be 1/4. Something like that. So I've got a very, very, very skinny A, and then we can connect those. And usually for your quizzes, I try to keep everything on this little graph. In other words, all your key points would be on the grid. And that's what you got. A very, very skinny A. I hope you can see that. I hope that makes sense.